My name is Ian Rotten, and I'm proud to announce that I just had sex with a man, and I think being gay is okay now. And if you look down at my dick, you'll see my condoms broke. My load could have fallen in that man's ass at any point, but still he kept fucking me like a warrior. So what you saw was one guy risking his ass, literally, big time. To all 39 of you, thank you for coming out, and thank you for letting me come out. I respect and love every single one of you, especially Eva from the Rotten Year Memory podcast. Shouts out to
Daniel, Ian Rotten, right? What do you think of that guy?
No idea who that is.
Right, but just the name of it, what's it give the impression of to you?
Sounds like a cunt.
He sounds like a cunt?
Sounds like a cunt.
You're a bit more, you're more right than you think.
Huh?
Yeah, you're good. Anything else you want to talk about 2000s indie professional wrestling?
I know nothing on that, sorry.
Huh? Let's do a service.
VWAMs?
ザ・イワムズ特別ゲイライツビッグマッチ
I've heard of that IWAM's place, but I wouldn't be welcome there, would I? Unless you've heard anything to the contrary.
Well, as it turns out, Eva, us gays, Ian Rotten welcomes us now.
Wow.
Here it is. Everybody welcome.
This is a ground-shattering moment. There's simply no way that if we watch this show called Everybody Welcome, there's simply no way that it can just be like completely fucking normal. there's no way. This has to be the most flabbergasting experience of 2019 for sure.
That's really it. As in, I was actually thinking about it as well as watching the show. Was just that the whole thing of like this like very small decision on the part of whoever it was, Ian Rotten, Misty Rotten, whoever, like maybe Nick Manoa, people who are just running graphic design for IWA stuff, they made a decision to be like, okay, our show title is going to be Everybody Welcome. Hey, why don't we do it in the Pride colours, right? And that has inspired us through the whole thing of like, mocking it, to just like, it's given us an excuse to just check in on what IWA Mid-South is like right now, isn't it? Like, because this really is just like them, like, business as usual, this show.
It really is. I expected something more. Oh, I don't know what the fuck I expected. I thought Ian was going to come out. He's going to have a rainbow flag draped around him. The music of Divine will be playing in the background, and he's going to make a real statement with this. But no, shit just happens.
It's funny you mentioned like Ian coming out. And like, because he doesn't have such an appearance on the show, but he hangs over it like a cloud. Because tell me, Eva, where's Ian Rotten during all this?
He's in the back.
Yeah, right next to the curtain. He's just sitting there, slouched over, wearing a hat,
ready to greet you as you come back. to give
Yeah, it's
to
quite
either
true.
give you a respect promo or a disrespect promo when you go back.
The first time I saw him on this show, just like in that like place, sitting there, you can't really tell what he's thinking, whether he's even paying attention. He's just like sitting there and just like, man, there he is, there he's just still at it, you know, like that's the thing is that like descriptions of Ian Rotten in like the previous decade of 2010s, they would have been quite like lamenting in their nature, you know what I mean? As in like they would have been like, oh, Ian, he can barely walk. He like this and that. He's just like barely functional as a human being. But I see him here, right? I see him just like sitting here, and I know he's still got all the stuff he needs. He can still. I know that he can still just like waddle around and do respect promo, and that's great. That's fucking great.
Yeah,
Elams.
yeah. Come on, dust those boots off, Ian.
Yeah.
At least the waddling boots for respect promo purposes. Maybe not the wrestling boots. I'm not sure
Oh,
if you can
waddling
still do that.
boots.
But you
Just
you
feel
can
like
sure
loaded,
waddle.
like, just
That son of a bitch sure
just
can
feel-
waddle.
just feel like loaded where like he comes out in his white socks. Everybody welcome. This is not a special show by any means. This is just like a weekly show that like IWA myself would have been running as per usual at the Arena in
Yeah.
Jeffersonville, Indiana.
A
Now,
venue literally just called the arena.
The Arena. What do you think of the Arena?
It's a strange place, isn't it?
I love it. I love
The
it.
pipes.
It's a yeah. It's a really nice, cozy looking place. Stuff such as like House of Hardcore, like basically stuff like that. That like the small venues that I don't myself would have called home before. They kind of like would have like these issues of them like maybe look a bit claustrophobic or just like there'd be a bunch of stuff which would like work to their charm obviously. But this like it reminds me of like Basement Monstar or something. Just like this nice little cozy place. It just feels nice. I like it. The choice of like the entryway being just like a bunch of like curtains draped, it certainly is a choice.
Yeah. As for this card, we did have a peek at it
Mm.
previously. I looked at everybody's Strigger pages, at least everyone who has one. There's a couple of guys that I might have seen on Black Label Pro shows, and possibly someone who was in a GCW Scramble, but I have no actual recollection of them. I assume it's not the first time that I've laid eyes on 2 or 3 of these people, but it might as well be.
What was the general impression that the roster that's here, like in IWA Mid-South today, as compared to like obviously with time, like the rest roster of something like 2002 at IWA Mid-South will be like etched in stone as like legends across the board and all that, and so it'll be a bit different. But comparing it to like what you saw in
legend
this show as
Roland
far as
had.
like yeah, sure, King of Deathmatch the winner. Okay, compared to like I suppose more compared to just like the undercard you would see in 2002, I did myself as we've seen, like your heroics and all that.
Yeah.
How did you perceive the people that you saw on this show?
It seems a bit less outlawed, doesn't it, these days? These guys seem like there seems to be a mixture of skills. Some people seem quite perhaps they could be in AEW or something in a couple of years, and other guys are just kind of, you exist. But it definitely feels like less outlaw. You've not got any Corporal Robinson equivalent here. You haven't got a Pondo equivalent or anything like that. The Scuzz is gone.
It's interesting to me that just in terms of like tangible ways you can say that indie wrestling would have shifted over a couple decades. The main thing appears to be how like promotions frame themselves. When we interviewed DJ Hyde, he was someone who emphasized CCW's role as the place where stars are born and then they go elsewhere. CCW is not being framed as an end, And similarly, it seems like IWA Mid-South adopts this role too, because it's mentioned sometimes, that like, oh, this guy went on to like NXT, whatever, and whatnot. Just like framing themselves like, seemingly by necessity, as just these places where you can get experience and you can get like a name for yourself, but it's not a place like it's not a home as such. And it's quite interesting because I don't think that the stuff we see in 2002 would really like agree with that. They would
Yeah,
sort
no.
of think, oh,
Obviously,
yeah.
obviously you have Punk and hero and stuff. But for guys like Corp, mean and hard, that's it. That's where they're going.
Yeah. With all this in mind, do you still feel as if, like, whatever you perceive the core tenets of Ian Rutten's philosophy to be, do you think you still find him in this show?
To an extent, they went pretty long in the main.
They went pretty long in the main, and also there's a lot of pride given to a lot of people's technical wrestling ability. It was quite something. It was quite something. I suppose then we can move into the show itself. Now, the start of the show, it's not any intro, it's not any sort of like preamble. Just get right into the match graphic, which is a PS3 menu screen and some piano.
Yeah, it sounds like a piano line from a shit slasher film or something.
The one I had in my head was like fucking Resident Evil Code Veronica save room music, but that's good too.
Bling, bling,
So
bling,
what's
bling,
what?
bling, 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 bling.
Yeah, very tense to get you, very, like a very tense like thing for a thing that's meant to make you feel welcome.
Yeah, I can't say I did feel particularly welcome. I felt on edge.
Oh, come on, Ian, get with it. This is not how you appeal to us gays.
Yeah, you should have played You Make Me Feel Mighty Real by Sylvester to go with the theme of the show.
There's also some text here. What's the text say?
Chase Holiday versus Lucas Jacobs versus Victor Vargas.
Wow. With the people that you've seen before, are any of them in this match?
No, I don't think so. The name Chase Holiday rang
Oh.
a bell, but I'm not sure if we're aware.
Right, yeah. All three of them seem quite nice. Lucas Jacobs, he's got some jeans on, and Chase Holiday, he's like a more normal guy, seems nice. Victor Vargas, he was probably the one who stuck out most to me in this match because he's quite an unpolished wrestler. I suppose
Yeah,
all three of them
absolutely.
are, but he more noticeably so. But it does feel as if like he has stuff kind of figured out. Like I think that a common thing in
He's doing like
this, and I
a
suppose
he's doing like a wild man thing. He's barefoot. He bursts through the curtain and just goes, "Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about."
that's what I'm talking about. Like I think it's something that I would like that I've noticed with some like a lot of like indie wrestling I've seen, and also just like generally something I would encounter a lot is that like guys will sort of train themselves to like have like good execution of stuff, but they won't really think about the in between, and so like they can do like really good moves, but then like the stuff in between it kind of falls apart. We'll get into that later on with some of these matches, but it feels like the opposite of him because he can be sloppy with stuff like in a way that's not compelling, as we've discussed ad infinitum, but also like just in terms of like being like a fucking crazy dude, like attributing like Junkyard Dog and all that, he's like got it figured out better than most people on this show, I think.
Yeah, there's something to actually make him stick in the memory a bit more.
Yeah, that'd be it.
How were you feeling about the atmosphere earlier on? I suppose it's not completely foreign territory for Iwams to just have this sort of dark, quiet show.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd really consider it out of character with like the EOMs that we know, because I think it's like quite like common with like the EOMs that we've seen to have like this like quiet crowd that will kind of just like go kick the ass sometimes
Yeah.
and all that. Part of the atmosphere that I grew to like was the commentary. First of all, about the commentary, like Nick Manowar is here.
Yeah, I learned that
You,
just as he was leaving, because I don't think they introduced themselves at the start.
no,
They said it at the end, which is really useful.
I just figured out because like someone said Nick, and like I just had like a fucking like flashback right there because like Nick Manowar, the times that we would have encountered him, he was the fucking like wee child who like Jim Fannin would bully.
Yeah,
And now here he is. He's all grown up, and he's just the new Jim Fannin. It's beautiful, amazing.
and who's the other guy?
And
It's not a change in team, is it? It stays the same.
it's a change in team.
Oh, okay.
Lucas Jacobs, he like comes on for the main event, and there's probably other changes
Right.
throughout. I don't know who like the other non-Lucas Jacobs people are because they don't introduce themselves. I don't think, at least.
Yes.
Initially, I sort of thought that the commentary was pretty bad because their model seems to be like Dave Prazak, so they'll just go, Captain Chest, so they just talk in that cadence all the time, and they just call moves a lot, all that sort of stuff, but. I kind of like grew to be charmed by them because soon enough it feels as if they loosen up, especially in the main event of Lucas Jacobs. They just start like bantering about, and it's not as if like it's like fucking like really like funny like stand up or some shit, but it's just nice to like hear them talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as well as that, what I like is that common throughout this is how they will sort of like start talking about guys like saying like, oh, he was trained by this guy, he's won this belt, he's like worked in these promotions and won this tournament and all that. But the thing is, none of them have done any research to like fully verify any of these facts. So just be like, oh, this guy he was trained by Seth Rollins, is that right? Okay, yeah. It's just like how it always is. So like any sort of like thing of like, oh, this guy did this. It's kind of nullified. Just going, okay, you didn't go check Wikipedia before the show. And I like that.
I'm not sure whether it's credit to the commentary or something against them, but they fucking love this. They love this shit. Minor moves are hit, and they're like, oh. So, whoa, okay.
Obviously, there's a point where you don't want to be like Steve Corino. It's like, oh my god, that was the greatest move ever, and like you obviously don't feel that way, but like just this sort of thing where like this is what we've fucking done while we've been watching Velocity. You'll just see something like, whoa, because we're just having fun. Yeah, like
there are several
I think
points
that's
where
probably
they're pretty much the only people responding. That's all to some of these matches.
yeah. I suppose that probably summarizes like their charm of it is that they seem to be having fun. Like I like when I can't remember who's doing like the offense and who's taking it here, but there's a point where someone gets on the top rope and they get like cut off by a palm strike for someone who just like dives up for it, right? And so like another commentator goes, "Oh, with those big Hayukin." Y'all know exactly what that was, big Hayukin, instead of Hadoken. It's great.
There's a classic Iwam's bit happens when all three hit moves and lie on the ground to soak up the applause, and the crowd just gives them nothing. Classic stuff. Classic. We love that shit.
Yeah. This is the EWAMs that I know and love. And speaking of that, you want to talk about how stuff can some things stay the same, some things never change. Tell you what, Vampiro's coming soon.
Yeah, we've definitely been promised future Vampiro in 2002 Iwams too.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, what the fuck did Vampiro do in 2019? Isn't he, like, really not in a good way physically?
Basically, his thing is that he got, like, diagnosed with Alzheimer's, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also his body is, like, extremely fucked up from the wrestling and whatnot. But he is, like, going through, like, like he's on, like, a right diet and, like, doing all this, like, mental health stuff that is kind of helping. But it's, like, that's the thing is that, like, I watched this interview of his recently, and it's full of a lot of great stuff that you'd want to hear from Vampiro. But it also did reveal this thing where it's like, basically it's like, he needs to like arrange to diffuse through text because like if the guy told him, oh okay, I'll meet you up with you tomorrow, then like by tomorrow he'll have forgotten that conversation happened. So he'll need to like have a text message there so he can like remember. With this in mind, I think that he can still do stuff at an IWA mid-cert show. Perhaps not wrestle, but he can like go in there and just like talk.
Let me see what he actually did. Did he wrestle? This motherfucker wrestled.
What?
On the
Wow.
On the 23rd anniversary show, he tagged what?
23rd anniversary.
He tagged with Shane Mercer
Vamp.
to take on Bobby Beverly and Matthew Justice. Shane Mercer and Matthew Justice, they're nuts. That doesn't sound like an easy match to be in.
Vamp.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he was on the apron for a lot of that.
Wow. Man, I was thinking of watching this show. Oh, that anniversary show sounds good, but oh, there's a vamp match too. Fuck, man.
Mm.
Yeah, I want to watch this show.
Maybe. I literally just finished watching this show, so like need a little break from the modern earworms, I think. But maybe down the
Wow.
line. Maybe down the line.
Not even for the podcast. That's fine. I could just watch it by myself.
Yeah, feel free. This does have some recognisable names on. Nate Webb is on it.
Yeah.
Ace Romero's always fun. Oh, and Michael Elgin, of course. You love him, don't you?
Oh yeah. He's taking on Aaron Williams. Oh my god.
Aaron Williams.
Ah, from Planet Williams. Anyway, back to this match wherein they do hit a bunch of moves on each other, and then Victor Vargas, he has the nightmare from, it's a Nightmare from Elm Street pun. I can't remember what the exact pun is, but it's basically the final cut, and he hits it on Chase Holiday, but then Lucas Jacobs, like a despicable person, he throws him out the ring, and then hits his own move on Chase Holiday and gets the win.
He hits the cradle pile driver while saying, "I love you, Jerry Lynn." So
Yeah.
everybody's
Cool
welcome,
stuff.
even
Yeah,
Jerry
everybody's
Lynn's gay
welcome.
lover.
Wow. And then Nick Manowar is like, hey, if you like this match, put some comments on this post. So, I don't know what that was all about. Maybe it's just live streamed or something. But anyway, then
Yeah,
let's move on
I'm
to-
assuming that they're on like Facebook or something.
Ah,
I could be literally the only person to have bought a copy of this. Because we've then hear a conversation away from the mics where one says like, the most has ever been watching at one time is like 7 fucking people.
Oh, do you think I was meant to be an off the mic conversation?
It sounded like they were further away from the mics. Maybe it was a deliberate
'cause,
little
like,
joke. I don't know.
It definitely was like candid, you know. Like, I suppose that's good in a way. Just like, you know, own that, like, you know, 7 people watch your show. That's nice in a way.
My last note is just that match could have probably been a lot worse. But wow, this is the modern earworms. It scares me. I need Axel Rotten to hit me with a slur. I don't know if I could take this.
Yeah. the time that we feel least welcome is this show. Somebody call me a fag already, alright. Anyway, second match on the show is the heel Adam Slade
The heel.
versus Sage Phillips.
Adam Slade, his gimmick is like 1950s guy who plays pool or something.
He's got a pool stick in any case.
He sure
Meanwhile-
has. And Sage Phillips,
Meanwhile, Sage Phillips-
he looks like he plays in Weezer.
He's just fucking Noam Dar. Like he does his fucking pose and everything. It's fucked up. This is the first instance of, like, you know, true Ianism. So like, this is something that, like, I don't think you could get like anywhere else. Is like, you know, Sage Phillips comes in and commentary, they're just like, Sage Phillips is a technical wrestler. He likes this shit.
Yeah, Phillips is a technical sensation, and apparently we need to see his match with David Starr from 2 years ago.
Fantastic match.
We need to see that.
We need to. And I think it's like, yeah, so eventually they end up bringing up who else but HC Loke.
You just can't escape this guy.
It's too true, Eva. It's too true. HC Loke. Yeah, because it's like Adam Slade does this senton, right? And they
The
call
goddamn
it like
senton.
the goddamn senton. And, you know, they're like, oh, if you were to ask HG Look, he would tell you that it's called the goddamn senton because, you know, it hurts and make you say, goddamn.
Yeah.
This match mainly is kind of shit. Not much for it.
Yeah.
Like, Sage Phillips, he does like some, like, you know, technical stuff, but it's not very compelling. And plus, like, a lot of his offense It's just bad. Like, this isn't the only instance of it on the show wherein they do like a tope suicida, right? And I don't think that like the proximity of the guardrail can be used as an excuse as to why they're so shit. But it's literally just like they'll go out, like like basically do the running hug, and then immediately throw them back into the ring.
Mm.
Like, so not only is it a terrible impact, but there's no chance to really like let it settle. Just like right back in the ring. Right after this, he does like this fucking flatliner, where it's like, I don't know like who it was you could attribute this to initially, where like, it's a thing where you are on the apron, you put your head through like the between the third rope and second rope, put your leg on the second rope, and then rebound like springboard in to do stuff. But it always looks like fucking clunky.
Yeah.
And that's when it's stuff like a DDT that you can at least say, okay, this is a natural succession of events here. What Sage Phillips does is a springboard flatliner. Why?
Yeah. Yeah. It sucks.
It's fucked. It's fucked. And then Adam Slade. Did you think much of him?
Not particularly, like, one way or the other. For the finisher, right? He wins with the air raid crash. It was a move, and that was a match.
It was a move, and that was a match. Adam Slade, he gets the victory, and then he's walking back through the curtain, but then he looks back to the ring, and he kind of looks a bit conflicted. He's like, and you know what I'm thinking? It's like, uh-oh, he has like had a nice bit of conscience. He's going back to do a code of honor. Unfortunately, though, as he's stalking back into the ring, I see that he has his pull cue. I don't think he's about to get a frame, or however you may say. Instead, he just like starts beating up Sage Phillips with the cane. Sage Phillips kind of sells for it, and meanwhile commentary, they're like, oh, come on, oh my god. So that's another thing that's never changed. Is like the commentary, they'll just be like trying to sell this stuff in story, but it's like, wow, how devious of you.
Yeah, that's good, I suppose.
What did you think of the ring compared to old IWA Mid-South?
Didn't have too many thoughts on it. It was just it just seemed like a normalish ring to me. Not too tatty. I suppose.
Yeah, that'll be it. It's
yeah, he's got a decent ring now.
Ian, you got a decent ring now. I'm proud of you.
I'm not. I want a huge blood stain. I want a gimpy bottom rope. That's what I want. But unsafe rings, please.
Unsafe.
Yeah, I want unsafe rings, and then I want you to come out at the end and brag about how unsafe it was.
Yeah, like I don't know why like Ian just didn't do a promo here. Like he could have easily just sat in the seat and just said like, "I hope you people feel privileged. Those guys almost killed themselves on my ring that ended up dead by OSHA standards." Unfortunately not. Instead, we get a big stakes title match for the IWA World Title. Wow, this title that has never in our span, I don't think we've particularly enjoyed any match contested under this title, have we?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's usually like the shittest thing on the show somehow.
Unbelievable.
Lots of Punk
Let's
and
see.
Hero. Just looking at some champions from the last decade or so. Kevin Geezer's got it now. Congratulations to Kevin Geezer. He's just a geezer.
What? That's crazy.
Congo Kong had it a little while ago. Nick Gage had it 2 years ago. Tracy Smothers had it like 3 years ago.
Wow, that's cool.
Isaiah!
Isaiah! Wow!
The knife man
Can't
himself.
believe that he actually returned to IWA Mid-South. That's crazy.
Yeah. Damn.
In any case, this which lineage aside, we are confronted here with the present of IWA Mid-South circa October 2019. Larry D He is the IWA World Champion. He comes out, he has the belt, and he's got like a Carter tattoo on his fucking chest, and he's like, all right.
This guy's fucking beefy as fuck. He's like tattooed indie Otis Dozovic in his 40s.
Yeah, he does indeed look in his 40s. He gets on their stroke, and he says that he went through hell to get this title, right? He sort of says like the way he says it is like oh, I went through hell to get what's inside this red and white silver thing, and it makes me wonder like what he thinks he's referring to, because it makes it sound as if like there's a life-giving elixir within the belts that he's trying to reach. But in any case, he says that he wants to, after having like climbed the mountain, he wants to give back. He wants to give opportunity, because you know what? I do a mid-surface opportunity. Then he goes over to the ring and it's like, "You hear that, Kevin? I do a mid-surface opportunity." It makes the guy like applaud it. So that's cool. So basically, it's an open challenge.
Yeah.
And
This is
who is it that we see?
this is IWA's Cena. You want some? Come get some.
Oh, you want some? Come get some. It's been so long since I've heard that catchphrase.
Yeah.
I actually really like that. Wow.
Yeah, I miss Cena as a wrestler, but
John Cena.
the guy who comes out for this United States Open Challenge is Franco Varga. He's
Franco Varga.
he's also quite big. He says, "Anybody, huh? Anybody? Yeah, anybody, including you, Franco Varga."
He just like like he walked up to the venue today and saw the poster out of Mr. Fifth by the Welcome. He's like, "Everybody, yeah, everybody." His nickname, as evidence in the ring introductions, is apparently biggest wrestler ever, Franco Varga.
The biggest wrestler ever.
Indeed. Too true.
So I said that Larry D is IWA's Cena, but there's a chant of Larry, Larry, Larry fucking D.
Larry fucking D.
Oh shit, he's the Jimmy Havoc of IWA.
You better believe it. I think Larry D, just like when you look at him and you see his popularity he has, it does like just like harken back to like the good old days where like just these like fucking guys who are like huge stuff like he looks like a fucking like Greg Valentine type, just like that sort of like regional baby face, who like you could just like put your heart into. It's great.
Yeah, this was
It's
probably
Franco
my
Varga.
favourite match on the show mainly because of this. There's a USA chant, amusingly. Everybody welcome, of course. Commentary just
I mean,
laughs.
Franco Varga.
Commentary just laughs and says
If
that,
he's
well, we are in Indiana.
we heard Indiana.
Larry D then gets another chant started, but this time one guy decides to shout "sucks" at the end of each chant. So maybe he really is IWA's Cena after all. And then cue funny awkward moment
like-
where Larry D, he tries to simultaneously like happily encourage the fans doing the chant right, while telling telling the guy who says he sucks to fuck off. Like he's trying to do both at the same time. It's like yeah, fuck you. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. So this match is quite beefy, They're just, it's quite a methodical pace. They club each other a lot. It's under, like, old school IWA rule, meaning no DQ or no counting outs, but they don't particularly make use of that.
Yeah.
So they're on the outside a lot, but it's not as if, like, any weapons come in. Apparently, Varga has a rich history of endorsements because he's been endorsed by Jason the Gift Kincaid and also Big Mike Michael Elgin. Wow.
Yeah, so this starts off in a very thick, beefy horse boys manner. Somebody get cage match
It's
Robert
true.
on the phone.
Yeah. Soon then, it just like, keeps going. I like when Franco does this DDT, right, where he gets the front face lock and he just like looks to everyone and goes, "Larry, trust name, And then he does the DDT.
There's still one or two people here who think that Larry D sucks, and whereas Cena, he uses a rise above hate approach, Larry D, he opts for the shut up bitch tactic, and I respect it. That would be I love Cena, man, but in that last decade he should have just been like, shut up bitch, stop booing me, you bitch. That's what he should have done.
Like, you know what fucks me up with Cena was how, like, there was, like, that, like, guy who had, like, the We Hate Cena shirt, right?
Yeah.
And, like, we would see him in the crowd, like, 2011 and think, wow, that's crazy. This guy hates Cena and he's wearing a shirt about it. And then, like, Cena happens to come along with this Rise Above Hate shirt. And then he just, like, goes over to the guy in the crowd and he just, like, puts his hands on his hip next to him. They share, like, a stare off. It's just like, oh, this guy is being paid by WWE to do this.
Whether he was or
this is
wasn't,
lost,
I'm
okay.
pretty sure WWE did sell those Cena Sucks t-shirts for a bit, didn't they?
They did, yes. It was because there was this feud that Cena had with Kane when Kane came back in 2011. And the whole thing was that Kane, he saw this new t-shirt that Cena had, right? And he was like, I think that hate is good, Cena. You should embrace the hate. And, like, in conjunction with this, like, okay, so Kane didn't make these shirts, right? They just happened to come along at the same time of this sort of, like, turbulent
I was
time
gonna say, it's like,
towards his
the
personal
Kane-
philosophy.
The Kane just sitting printing off these t-shirts. Like, I've printed off all these t-shirts, you know, I'm gonna sell 100 of them.
Check out my red bubble. But no, there was like these like there was these official like WWE shirts for like, you know, Cena sucks on the front, and it was like on the back. Okay, you know, on the back of the shirts of like, you can't see me. Then they were like, we don't wanna see you. So, you know, it's perfect stuff of like, you know, oh, this is how WWE like views after Cena sentiment.
I'm just now thinking of Kane going, check out my red bubble, and then he he moves his arms down and there's an explosion.
I wonder how Paul Bearer came into this. He was the one who taught Kane how to knit. Oh, it's a very good pastime, Kane. You're a murderer. Oh boy. Oh, I would love to see Kane versus Larry D. That'd be a good match, I think.
Yeah, safe pair of hands as Kane, that's for sure. And he's always reading that
Yeah.
damn book. That one book that he has. He's always reading it.
Yeah, Larry D is very powerful, but I struggle to think whether he could match up to the intellect of Glenn Jacobs.
Absolutely not.
Franco Varga, he's this young guy. He's got all the tools in the world to really make it in the pro wrestling business, right? But unfortunately, he is too haughty for his own good, and he is lackadaisical, right? He makes a cover, and they're like, "Oh, lackadaisical cover, can't come and tie down myself and do that shit, right?" And this made me think that, like, what the fuck is the etymology for lackadaisical as a word? Because obviously we all know what it means, right? But like, I'm not sure, like. Because, like, does it mean, like, is there a equivalent where, you know, like, you could be daisical? As in, like, where you are very, like, stern about things? So I looked it up, and it turns out that, you know, like, alas or alack is, like, exclamations of, like, you know, disbelief or whatever. Apparently one of them was alackaday. As in, like, alack the day, they turned into lackaday, and then just put isical on the end. So apparently, lackadaisical is meant to just be like, oh, this thing is making me go lackaday.
Wow.
Then after all this like futtering around from Franco Varga, Larry puts him away with what's his big finishing move.
The punch! Simply stated,
The-
a simple move.
The best hand, a punch. and he fucking wins, then it's up to fucking Larry D to cut. Guess what?
Motherfucking respect promo.
Ah! This is where we'd play the IWA Mid-South theme if we had one.
Yeah. God damn it, why did you never get a theme made?
No, actually, this is just going
What the fuck was that?
Firestarter.
Oh. Of course.
Yeah. Respect promo from Larry D. And you know how he ends it? Is that, hey, we're in this arena every Thursday. Ian! He directly addresses Ian Rotten, who's just sitting there. He's like, next time, give me the best, because I want the best. So
Yeah.
we can expect more world title matches from Larry D.
Yeah.
Of this caliber.
Larry D, he tries to do Code of Honor with Varga. But Varga does not adhere to the Code of Honor! He goes up to shake Larry D's hand, but he spits in his face instead. And Larry D, I like his response to this. He says, hey, sometimes there's even crybaby bitches who are good in the ring.
Wow. That's fucking good. That's fucking good.
Yeah, it's good.
I do sort of like, I do like how, you know, I do Mid-South, they're quite a bit more lax about it, you know, because like, oh, you disrespected of Code of Honor, but being able to hear it's like, oh, should have done the handshake, how dishonorable.
We move on to something else which may or may not be lax. Did you see a message in one of the DMs that I was in saying like, I can't believe IWA South is just getting away with having a 12-year-old girl wrestle for them?
That was closely not 20 years old, is she? 12 years old?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
that's right. Yeah, she doesn't have a cage match page, does she?
Yeah, she doesn't.
Oh,
I can't verify any of what I heard in any way, but
huh.
here's Alice Crowley. Everybody welcome.
Yeah, the women's champion, Alice Crowley. Yeah,
The women's champ against
that's fucked up.
Jonathan Wolf.
Yeah, intergender match, women's champion versus guy. They're both part of the IFHY stable. Did you look into the IFHY stable?
I did not.
Well, I did,
Did you
I
find
didn't note
anything
it down.
interesting?
but it's on Jonathan Wolf's cage match, as you would expect. Strigger's quite thorough with it, as well as the two people here. This stable also includes Sean Kemp, Cole Radrick, Billy Starks, Tyler Matrix, and the Alley Cat.
The Alley Cat.
Yes,
Wow. That's
Wow.
that's a stable, alright.
yep. And the tag team of this stable is Wolf and Kemp. You know, they're called Wemp, I would say. At least that's what I would go with.
Wemp.
Wemp. Indeed.
That's like if we got Jonathan Ross as a guest on it. Well, thanks for inviting me to the Wemp.
You know, I don't know how much our listener base all these like Jonathan Ross references we make would appeal to, but it doesn't matter because I always find it really funny.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't know why why he keeps coming up. Like I haven't thought about him outside of doing these shows for like years. He doesn't even seem to be that visible anymore. Gotta look him up on Wikipedia, see if he's actually like still alive. Oh yeah, he's still breathing.
It's not particularly related, but this does remind me that just the day I saw this post, it was like, okay, so because of Brexit, they're making a new 50p, right? It's a 50p coin that says on it, peace, prosperity, and friendship with all nations. So, okay, right? But then someone tweeted this, was that enjoy the hashtag Brexit 50p. Hope it makes you happy. Dear Lord, what a sad little life, Sajid. You ruined my future completely so you can have the 50 feet. And I hope now you can spend all less than grace decorum because you have all the grace of a whirling dump truck without any tires on.
Classic. I'm looking at recent things. When I say recent, I mean 2010. Jonathan Ross presented a 3-hour Channel 4 list show, 100 Greatest Toys, with the broadcaster describing Ross as a huge toy enthusiast with a private collection that would rival any museum's.
Wow.
So that's cool.
That's cool.
Very cool.
I remember I was talking to my sister recently, and she was telling me in horror of like this time she was watching this Boris Johnson interview, and like Boris Johnson, he's sort of like he approaches like every social interaction as if it's like like school like presentation that he's done nothing on, so he's just kind of winging it the whole time. And someone asks him like hey, what do you do in your spare time? And like he's like he's just like giving it all that for like so long, and then so he just came off, I make buses, model buses, and I put little people in them and paint faces on them.
What a psychopath.
and
then I throw them off a cliff.
Oh man. Man, this country is full of fucked up people.
Yeah. Myself
And
included.
I suppose you could say the same for IWA Mid-South too, because we have Alice Crowley here, who might be 12 years old. That'd be fucked up if true. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. This is quite a... it's not an easy going match, is it?
It goes along. Jonathan Wolf's probably the biggest example of this phenomenon I was talking of, wherein there'll be moments in this where like he'll do like this huge senton that like looks great, or he'll have this like moment where they're doing like apron spots, and he'll just like jump on the apron and do like this big elbow, and it looks really dynamic, right? It all looks good, but then like the in between, he's just kind of like lying around or sitting around. He's not really sure what to do with himself, and so it does speak to like misprioritization of stuff and like how he trains in like this whole thing, I think.
Yeah, I suppose so. I zone out for parts of this. Crowley lands on her face at one point. Wolf kills Crowley with a senton over the rope, laughs about it.
He's laughing about it. What a jerk.
That's mean.
How mean.
At this point I decided to write, what have I bought? I paid money for this. Real currency that humans use to try and buy things they need and want.
Shoot currency.
That currency is a shoot. Right? 11 shoot pounds.
Wow.
Or 9.
11 shoot pounds.
9 shoot pounds, 11 shoot dollars.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, yeah. It's like a strange match in that way. As in, I think at least that they don't really like go for like the usual intergender tropes. It feels a lot more like any sort of like thing of, oh, Wolf is stronger than Crowley. It's more because she is like very much smaller than him. It doesn't feel as if it's just like, oh, you are a girl, so I am stronger, which is like how it ought to be, I think, conceptually at least.
Yeah.
It's funny because just today there's this thing of Jordan Devlin, right? There is this spot at the last WWE show where him and Travis Banks, they were going at it, and what the heck, Travis Banks did a Canadian Destroyer, and Jordan Devlin went, oh, and it was like a transition spot, right? So P.T. Williams, he quote tweeted JAF, and he was like, sorry everyone, I never meant for the Destroyer to be a transition spot. And everyone was like, ah ha ha, right? So then I watched this show now where they're doing a bunch of apron stuff. Jonathan's Wolf, he's intended on like doing some shit to Alice Crowley on the apron, but Alice Crowley, gets out of it, gets him off the apron, kicks him away, and then once you do, but a goddamn Canadian Destroyer, wow.
Oh my days.
Oh my days.
And then she just immediately does something else. I can understand Pete Williams' concerns, but Pete, you didn't invent that move, man. I will expose you as the fraud that you are. It was amazing red on a mattress.
I'll tell you who wasn't impressed with that was Deuce.
Oh.
Yeah, Deuce did, like, you know what the angle that Deuce took was like, oh, P.T. Williams doesn't like catch up like AEW when they do Canadian Destroyers.
Oh, damn it, Deuce. He's so territorial.
Everyone in wrestling needs to stop doing it. Find another move to spam and let PT find another way to be relevant.
Wow. Taking that to heart. Really leaping to defense of Jordan Devlin and
Jordan Devlin
and Travis Banks.
Travis Banks.
No, I just gotta leap and take this bullet for Jordan Devlin. No.
His head was so big he can't avoid in time. No.
What even was that show last night? Because I thought they would have a takeover. That's what they usually do before the Rumble.
It was like when worlds collide. But this is what it's like.
Oh,
that's what it was.
I was thinking about Power Man 5000 the other day because I was looking at like bot rock songs from fucking WWE games of the 2000s that I had and rating them.
Whatever gonna take it over.
Power Man 5000 and Static X. When was the last time you thought about Static X?
Quite recently. I love that shit.
Oh, okay. Well, for me, it had been a long time.
I fucking love bot rock, man. I tell you what. I suppose what I didn't love is this match, because I think this will be a case for a lot of matches in the show. It's just like I felt like way too long, and just in fact that, like, you know, this is something that occurred in previous matches on this show. It's strange to think about because, like, you know, it probably happens in a lot of like other like indie wrestling contemporarily. Just in how the stuff they take influence from, they decide to take influence from in a very uninspired way. Just in how, like, you know, Wolf and Curly, they'll do his thing where, like, oh, we start slapping each other, and then we'll do like a big Larry and go and then, like, you know, raise our arm and run the ropes so as to telegraph us getting countered, and, like, you know, we get up and like do a sort of move, and then I flip you inside out of this lariat, and then we lie down. It just, like, you know, feels quite like insipid, you know, just like to do all this shit. You could shave this off and like save like a good 6 minutes of the match. It just feels as if like they're being allowed to do too much.
Yeah, that's an understandable statement. I think it's quite true. Crowley does seem quite talented. I just have my concerns.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, they trade pinfall reversals after 15 minutes, and Wolf wins with his bridging pin. That was that.
Yeah, it's a nice sort of our corner roll finish because, you know, Crowley is the one who initiates it. She goes for your corner roll, but then like Wolf just uses momentum and along with his weight to just like shift over. And the folding pin is the thing I love the best because, like, I'll always remember it. There's this one match from 1990, Great Kabuki versus Kobashi, when Kobashi was like a rookie in his trial series, and like Great Kabuki, the way he wins it is by doing your corner roll, right? But like when he does it's like, you know, Japanese folding press, where like he does your corner roll and then like goes over, and you know how like Zack Sabre Jr. he'll do like a bridge, right? But like Great Kabuki he'll just go and just like, you know, fall down, and like it looks so cool, and like there's no way you're kicking out of it. That's the case here. So Jonathan Wolf, he wins with Japanese folding press. It's great, cool.
And then they obey the code of honor. the direction for myself I wrote on my page is Happy Gabe voice. So I just had to wing that one. I don't think I've tried a Happy Gabe. They obey the code of honor. Come on, guys. There was no chicanery at all.
Happy Gabe is just Mickey Mouse.
Oh, dangerous!
It's a me, Kate. Thank you so much for following the code of honor. Yahoo!
That's what he's like. If you ever met the guy, that's what he sounds like.
Who do you think this makes Luigi then?
My first thought was Rob Feinstein.
I'll pretend you said 18.
Wow.
And I think that perhaps this makes this makes Ian Rotten Wario.
I'll go with it.
We're establishing a whole
And
universe here.
Is
Anyway,
Xander the princess? Princess Xander.
Dear Mario, I baked you a cake. Come to Mushroom Kingdom. Ah!
And then fucking DJ Hyde is like, nah, not DJ Hyde. Say someone to say. Steve Carino, he's like a fucked up frog. Have they got a fucked up frog in that franchise? Or am I thinking of something else? I've not played much Nintendo stuff. You know the fucked up frog?
Are you talking about Yoshi?
Probably, man.
Are you talking about Yoshi?
Probably, yeah, he's like a fucked up frog, isn't he?
Yoshi! Wait, wait. Wait, okay, like,
The prophecy is just business, but me and Lashes is personal.
Great stuff. I'll assume that's accurate, because I was a PlayStation kid, so...
yeah, we've got this whole universe set out for like our indie wrestling / Mario universe fanfic, so it's good. It's all good. Alice Crowley and Jonathan Wolf, they observe the code of honor because at the end of the day, they are friends in the IFHY stable. There's a very strong closing exchange to this, which is that one of the commentators, they hear IFHY and they just go, I hate you. And the other guy just goes, right, here in IWA Mid-South. And that's it. Very good, very good. Then,
Yes. We move on to Aaron Williams against Sam Thompson. As this match graphic fades out, the first thing we see is a man in shorts yawning, just sat by the curtain, which I screen cap.
I think it coincides with like Aaron Williams' theme like features some guy going ah, and so like coincides with the guy just going oh. Aaron Williams, do you know anything about him? He seems to be of repute.
I don't know him, no. And I don't think he would have been one of the guys that I would have seen on Black Label Pro or whatever.
This guy's crazy. He comes out and his look is just like inscrutable. He's got this like big mesh top on, long sleeved, and you know, it's like he's also wearing like these like beige like skinny jeans too. Got kick pads on underneath them. It's very strange.
Yeah, it's a very
He's,
weird look. Like a translucent black shirt.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sam Thompson comes out and, you know, he is fucking, like, he comes across this sign that says, Aaron sucks, Sam is better. And then he hugs one of the ladies who is holding it. So that's cool. Then it gets to the introductions. Aaron Williams has, like, the Black Tiger 7 thing, where he hates one ring announcer and he wants the other ring announcer to announce him. So he scares the small man out of the ring and lets the taller guy just announce him. So that's alright. He is Danger. This is his nickname. Not Danger. It's not. I'm not saying that he is Danger. It's that his nickname is He is Danger. Crazy.
That's a good nickname.
What do you think of this match?
Not much. I've not really written much on it. Like Williams intercepts a top route move attempt from Thompson with a punch. It looks pretty good. And then my next note is, I am, however, bored.
I did like them myself. It's quite like a henk or something. You know, just like a sidestep, which is cool. Then like he takes off the mesh, like, and the tire seems a bit less like bad without it. You know, if he's just like wearing jeans, it's okay enough. Someone gets a Facebook message in the crowd, and then you know, he starts like he's got a lot of martial arts expertise, so he starts throwing these knees, and they're like, "Look at these Muay Thai knees," you know. That's the martial art he teaches cows.
Muay Thai.
They put over this match is very big for Sam Thompson, and I'll give you a quote as to evidence this. They say, "Just to show you how big this match is for Sammy, he has his girlfriend here. He has his friends in the audience. He told them, 'Come see me face Aaron Williams. Come see me face the first ever back-to-back TPI winner.'"
Yeah, I like to
Even
think that
Timmy-
his girlfriend and his family were just like on the fence, like, I don't know if I could be bothered to like come and support you. Oh, former TPI back-to-back TPI winner. Oh, hell yeah!
Can I assume then this would be your reaction too if someone told you this?
Absolutely, back-to-back TPI winner Aaron Williams. Are you kidding me?
You gotta be kidding me. So Sam, like, he has some nice kicks. Like, I think he uses his like long reach well to like, you know, do these nice kicks from places that usually wouldn't do him. But then soon he is killed by Aaron Williams, who does a kick.
The cook,
And then
the cook. Quite simply, the cook.
Simply stated, a simple cook. And then like he gets the pin. You could apparently count to 1,000, which is like, you know, that's whatever. And then yeah, he wins. Generally, like, he seems like a strange character, and I don't know what I think of him. This match, it was okay.
Williams, he gets on Das Dick. He says that he's so awesome, he doesn't even have to care anymore. Okay then.
I'm right there with you, Aaron. So then we get on to what I think was the match of the night, personally. It's this huge 6-man who is participating in this.
Lola Perez, Raul LaMotta, and Ronnie Roberts against Braden Lee and the Mama's Boys of Joe Travis and Joshy Boy.
Yes.
Does the other team have a name? I can't remember. It's not on Strigger.com.
The Sinners and the Saint.
The Sinners and the Saint. Well, I've
Right.
always referred to them as the other team in these notes now, but I will try and remember that name.
The Saint is Ronnie Roberts because he has, you know, religious garb. He carries a Bible, and it's just quite pious. Meanwhile, Raul LaMotta and Unseen Lola Perez, they are a lot more rudo. Raul LaMotta even has rudo on his ass. It's crazy. Meanwhile, Unseen Lola Perez, I wouldn't trust someone who I couldn't see. And then, like, the Mama's Boys come out. I love their shirts, you know, because Joe Travis, he has like this shirt on that's like Mama, and then like Boys is like, you know, depicted in like, you know, those little like building blocks with letters on them, like he is in kindergarten. So that's cool. And then the Mama's Boys manager, whose name escapes me right now, he has a shirt on that says like, okay, so there's Up and Boys. They're both in boxes and like typed up font, but between them is Straight and Women's. So it's Straight Up Women's Boys.
Straight up
This to me opens up-
women's boys.
This to me opens up the scope of their boyish quality quite a bit, because it's no longer just restricted to mamas. It's crazy. I like too that, you know, I suppose you're right when you say that like the Outlaws quality is gone from my dream Mid-South. There's no Madman Pond, there's no Corporal Robertsons, but when I heard the Mama's Boys theme tune and I saw it come out, I did sort of think, this does sort of harken back to that. Just like this, would you call it crunk? This theme to come out to?
Yeah, I think it'd be Kronk, wouldn't it?
This is that shit, bro. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's crazy. But then it gets interrupted by Mr. Sandman, and then Ronnie Roberts is like, hey, tell that guy to get better music. But fortunately, this is answered quickly because it turns to a trap remix of Mr. Sandman, and here comes Breezy Braden Lee. Wow.
Yeah. I like how the Mama's Boys they just seem to sort of stand around chatting while they wait for Braden Lee to enter.
Yes.
Everyone gets in the ring, but the Saint and the Sinners, they jump the Mama's Boys before the bell. Or Mama ain't gonna be happy.
Yeah. Who is Mama?
Yeah. I would... They got a manager, but that manager can't be Mama, surely. They've got a beard.
Oh. Well, look, I think that was explained to us, actually, if, that guy was a mama, right? So that's why his shirt doesn't indicate that he's a mama's boy. He can't be a mama's boy, he is mama. So that's why he's a woman's boy.
Wow.
Straight up. It'll make sense now. Figured it out. So this match, I really liked it because generally this show, like, it's a tiny indie show featuring like people who are like, are really just having fun, And I think it combined that with like a lot of like, high paced action. It doesn't really let up that much. So you have these like nice little like characters who are like, maybe they aren't the best thing in the world, but like, they're entertaining enough. And there's just like a lot of stuff that like you can think is like nice. Joshi Boy, as it turns out, is the nephew of Too Tough Tony.
Yeah.
So that is cool. IMO.
Joshi Boy did what Joshi Boy had to do. I like when commentary says Too Tough Tony is a former champion, a former Big Japan Pro Wrestling. Wow.
Former Big Japan Pro Wrestling.
He used to be that entire company. No, now he's not. It's a shame. It's a great shame. He's no longer the entire Big Japan.
Yeah.
How about the bit when I think it's Raul Lamotta? He tries to kick an opponent out the ring. He sort of puts him on the floor, stomps him once, and then sort of looks confused.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff where like there'll be like some awkwardness on this show, like in the ring work. It's fair enough, and like in this match, like it doesn't really impact stuff that much. What I like personally is this point where the unseen Perez and Braden, they're in the ring. Perez does his head scissors, right? And Braden, he flips out of it, lands on his feet. He turns around to confront Perez, and Perez just looks at him like, please don't hurt my family. And then he just like, beats him up. So that's cool.
I think I discovered, or at least I thought I discovered who one of the commentators was at this point, because a Mama's Boy is cut off from a tope attempt with a forearm, and one of the commentators say, he murked him with that forearm there.
Yeah!
Robert.
Wow. This ain't this talking to Triple H. This is Robert talking to Paul Levesque. You want to talk about like figuring out who commentators are based on like some sort of like key words that they like betray? Guess what? Sinners and the Saint, they get up to some like stuff, right? And one of the commentators just goes, chicanery from the Sinners and the Saint.
Chicanery?
Wow. Unbelievable. Chicanery. I think that's the name of Kane's Red Bubble store. Oh man. This match ends in Joe Travis getting a quick schoolboy on, I believe it is Lola Perez. It's quite a nice victory, basic stuff. The Saints and the Sinners.
It sounded to me, just before the end of this match, it sounded as if two members of the crowd were chanting, Strigger, Strigger, Strigger. I'm not sure what they actually would have been chanting, but it sounded like Strigger. I just imagined Strigger standing tall in that ring, in Das ring.
Do you remember that time that like Dave Meltzer went to PWG and like there was this match that like it was fucking, I can't remember who it was. It was like Matt Sydal and Ricochet and some other people in like a 6-man were like, oh, it's great, 5 stars. Like he was in the front row, and after the match, everyone looked to him just like they wanted him to just like stand up and go 5 stars, and they'd be like, "Yeah." I'm just imagining sort of thing. We're like, I'm not sure what you would ask him, Striga, but
Das recommended match, yeah?
das recommended match, yeah. Das recommended match, yeah.
Striga guide,
Uh,
Striga guide.
This match ends. Joe Travis gets a triumphant victory, but unfortunately, Sinners in the Saint don't let him celebrate because they start beating him up. Chase Holiday, he comes out to like help, and so
Yeah, he
Uh,
comes out, he's like a house on fire, a burning home.
yeah. My house, served of the ordinary. Chase Holiday, he comes in with a chair. It's crazy, and then Ronnie Roberts, he asks for the mic, and the way he sets it out is that on the anniversary show, it's 10-10, right? So he thinks, huh, wouldn't it be apropos to have a 10-man match, right? So they're gonna get like a couple more people to do another tag, but it's not just gonna be a 10-man tag. It's gonna be elimination, but also it's not just gonna be a 10-man elimination tag. It's gonna be a handcuffed 10-man elimination tag.
Holy shit.
So that means that like once someone's eliminated, they get handcuffed to the guardrail, and then once a team's been eliminated, like the winning team, they can go over and uncuff all their guys and then beat the crap out of the people who are handcuffed. Now, they don't stipulate a specific time limit for which you can beat the crap out of someone, so hypothetically, the losers could die.
Wow.
So indeed, a high stakes match to follow up this hot feud, and
Roberts,
they are.
he says he's sick and tired and tired of and sick of being sick and tired with these people.
Well said. The Mama's Boy sides, they don't really get an opportunity to respond to this. It's just sort of assumed that, they will go along with it. And, even before I found out about Vampiro being on here, I just sort of thought, man, I would watch that. So then, quickly, we can get on to the main event now. Wow.
The main event. We've seen several events, and this is the main one right here.
Yes,
For the
last match
for the
of Everybody
IWAM's
Welcome.
junior title, the current
The last match where we're welcome.
the last match where we're welcome. Never again will we be allowed to watch Ian Rotten's product.
Wow, what a way to go out on.
The current champion, he's just a geezer, Kevin Geezer, against Project Monix.
Project Monix?
Project Monix.
Project Monix! I liked Kevin Giza because, it reminded me of my own Glaswegian dialect, where, we're Goni Giza break. And whatnot. Goni Giza, a wee snout and all that. So that's cool. He looks like Sean Guinness or something, and that's weird. Project Monix, he comes out, he looks like a fucking robot. Wow. But then he takes off his mask and all that. It's he's just a guy.
Oh yeah.
He's just a guy.
Yeah, he's got a half mask on, like a cyborg. I once won a school sort of costume competition for just wearing loads of cardboard boxes and calling myself a cyborg.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Did you make beep boop sounds?
Yeah. The other thing that I've won in my life is I correctly guessed the name of an action man. So those are my two claims.
Oh my god.
Claims to fame. My two crown and achievements. They both happened when I was 5. It's been downhill since then.
Wow. Did you collect Action Mans?
We had a couple.
I used to love Action Man when I was 5. My dad would always buy me this stuff, and it'd be oh, I remember for Christmas one year, Dr. X, I got this Dr. X figure. It was it was huge, and he was a big cyborg, right? And he had this detachable arm, right? And it wasn't even an arm, it was just this chainsaw thing. and it wasn't a functional like chainsaw, but like the fucking like thing was like plastic glass, and you could like pull this cord, and it would just be like, oh, you let it go, it's like sparks, and like, oh wow, I'm like chainsawing Action Man or whatever. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to love that shit.
Was there a? Did you have a
So
toy?
Project Monix.
Did you have a toy that was like Professor Gangrene or something? With
Yeah.
this green gooey shit. I was way too destructive to own that toy. I just split his belly open and just like there was green shit all over my room for years.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I had the one where it was like, he had like two faces. So like he had one that was like, "Arr," and then it was like, ah, and like you could press this button to like make him spin around, and that was cool. Yeah, there's a lot of Action Man stuff I had, like a very compelling franchise to me as a child. Project Monix brings us to mind, but he does not embody it, unfortunately.
He does.
This junior heavyweight title match gets underway. These are the guys who follow in the footsteps of guys like Ace Steel and Vic Capri and fucking Mike Quackenbush. Turns out that there's another thing that IWA sort of keeps on, which is that they have like stuff like booked in advance, subject to change, because like Project Monix has a match already with some other guy like next week, and Kevin Giza, he's got a title match lined up already. And you know who the next challenger is?
Who?
The mini draw, Jake Christ.
Wow. Must see.
Wow, that's right, because it's the mini draw.
The mini draw.
Big annual draw.
5 minutes into this match, the commentary say 5 minutes gone, and these guys haven't even kicked into second gear yet. And this adds up because I've written absolutely nothing about what they're doing.
They start off with like stalling, right? Like Project Monarch, he like banjos someone in the crowd, and apparently somewhere along the way he mentions like something about the sperm race. You know that all of us like undertake in order to become born. Is that like a vagina gets cummed into, right? And there's a bunch of sperm, and they all have to race to get into to become an egg, right? That's how biology works. And like, there's something that like makes Project Monarch go off and like, oh, you should have lost the sperm race, bro, because I don't like you. And that's fair enough, right? And then the commentary, like, which appears to be it's Nick Manawan and Lucas Jacob now, and they just go, you know, any of us being alive is a miracle, given that whole sperm race thing that Project Monarch's talking about. So that's cool.
10 million sperm, you were the quickest.
Yeah, we were the quickest. It's crazy. Now, the commentary here is quite nice because it feels as if, like, you know, by this point, they are just kind of a conversation, you know, rather than just, like, strictly trying to call a match. And so it feels like a lot more, like, you know, off the cuff and all that. They bring up this story that's interesting, where, like, trying to think now, just, like, off the memory I have of this show that I watched, like, an hour ago. Project Monix is the one with... Who's it has, like, a lot of wrist tape?
I know someone did. I watched
Yeah,
I
so
watched it even
someone,
more
like-
recently than you.
Someone, like, you know, over the course of the match, like, their wrist tape kind of comes loose, so they just, like, maybe take
Oh
it
yeah,
off
that'd
or
be
something like that.
that'd be Monix. I think I can remember him throwing it.
Yeah, Monix, like, he does that, and then, like, commentary, it's like, oh, he's, like, taking off that 80-foot of wrist tape he's got, and, like, then the other guy says, like, oh, Tony Ellis would hate that, and what I assumed at first was that, you know, he'd be like, oh, that 80 foot of wrist tape, haha, because he likes feet, but it turns out that there's a story of, like, well, CM Punk was ECW champion, Tony Ellis was like, hey, what's the fall of that wrist tape, CM Punk? You look like you got broken arms. So, you know, that's alright.
Yeah. Tony Atlas, he only
Um,
likes ankle tape.
Wow. I enjoyed, like, a move of Project Monix's, which is the Crosstown Classic. Did you note that?
I certainly didn't.
The Crosstown Classic is, you know, this move where he goes up to the second rope and he, like, rotates off as if to do a crossbody, but instead he does a forearm, right? Sort of like, you know, the phenomenal forms like that. and I liked it because the way Kevin Giza sells it reminds me of my favorite move ever, which is the lie detector by R-Truth, where like you just fold over completely like an accordion, and like when I first saw that in like 2010 on Record WWE, like R-Truth versus The Miz for the vacant United States Championship, I would have been like, wow, what a cool way to take a move, and it stuck in my mind. It came to me here, and I quite liked it.
And speaking of the Miz, he does get he does get a mention. And,
It's true.
I think Luke Jacobs is like, "You're about to tell me that he had a spell in the ORAMs?"
Yeah, it's because they do like a weird skull crushing finale variation.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's more they just do a face buster, and that's the WWE name that like the commentators decide to choose to do it. That leads to this thing where it's like they like mention like Madman Pondo being with Big Cass, and they go, oh, Big Cass isn't being that way in Mid South, and they're like, oh, you never know, and they're like, I'd rather not. So
I think
just publicly bury him.
yeah, I think Pondo should be with Enzo actually. And this is Madman
Yeah.
Pondo, and he's fucking mad. That's
This
what
is
I'd put.
Madman Pondo. He wears SpongeBob shirts, and you can't teach that.
Yeah, that's what I'd book. And Enzo Amore and Madman Pondo tag team. Take me to the top of the wrestling business.
Wow. Meanwhile, Project Monix, he does the fucking pay dirt, a la Shelton Benjamin. He does the pay dirt, and then does this weird fucking thing. Like the commentary presumes that like it's some sort of like thing involving, like as if it's like an inverted Koji clutch, but as the camera like goes around a bit, you see that he's just like doing like a head scissors. Not even a good head scissors that would really choke you. He's just like got his legs around like the face of Kevin Giza, and then like Giza will reach for the ropes with his hands. And he'll go, I'm getting my arm pulled back, and then so like commentator's like, reach with your leg, Giza, and then he does. Yeah, it's like funny that like they just sort of like do a bunch of moves, and in the meantime, like they just like fucking like the commentary, that is, they will just like find a bunch of like references to WWE to like tie it to like like Solarbuck have like, oh, Sheamus used to do that.
Yeah.
These are my type of guys.
On June 2012, Sheamus did that. We've talked about how like we hate commentators saying that they should have hooked the leg. We hate when commentators say like, "Oh, he took his head off," which did actually happen in this match. But I think there might be one in this match that I hate more than the other tropes, and that's
What?
you might have been playing possum there.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. This. Why would you play possum? It's not a fucking lion that's gonna leave you alone if it assumes you're dead or something. It's a fight.
Yeah. Aye. Like, I was just quickly looking up there because I was trying to think about what Sheamus would have been doing in June 2012, and the first thing I thought of was like, oh yeah, he stole Alberto Del Rio's car and took a shit in it, but that was August, so never mind. Anyway, like, this does remind me that there's a point where, like, okay, so, like, fucking Giza, right, he's got this move where, like, he basically has a guillotine, like, splash or, like, double stomp, whatever the circumstances may be, where like guillotine implies that the guy has their head there on the apron, so it's as if they're being guillotined, right?
Project
It's set up
Monix.
by like, okay, so he
deliberately shuffles into position
Project
for this.
I'll tell you what, like, so he gets like rough ridered, he kicks out, and he goes, oh, I better go over to the apron
Yeah,
to rest my head.
I better just wiggle over here.
He just does it as little subtly as you can be, and then like he avoids double stomp, and then they're fighting on the apron. He gets kicked, and he goes, oh, and then just like puts his arm out so as to receive Giza so he can get head thrusted onto the floor. It's just like some like amateur hour shit.
This funny crowd response as Monix tries for something quite ambitious. He attempts to leap off a chair, Sabu style, over the guardrail, but Giza cuts him off and does a weird cutter instead. One guy says "holy shit" twice.
Yeah.
And then Monix, he eventually manages to pull off what he was going for, an underwhelming Superman punch. One guy claps 5 times. Just such classic response. That's what makes me feel at home.
EWAM's fans. Yeah, I love that EWAM's fans feel like, nobody's making any noise, and there's this guy who feels like he ought to make some noise, but he's kind of self-conscious about it while he's doing it, because he knows nobody else is joining in. I like the part where, they're in the crowd like that because they go to the back of the arena and they've got fucking claw machines and shit. Wow. It's crazy. But mainly, this match became very listless at a certain point because, I don't think it's that they ran out of stuff to do. They also had a bunch of stuff they wanted to do. It's just at a certain point, man, I didn't feel like watching it anymore. And, it just kept going on and on.
I was feeling similar things because I noted 20 minutes gone. God damn it, I need a shit.
I need that shit.
It was true. I did need a shit for that entire match. The commentary reacts to absolutely everything more than the crowd. A mid-air double stump from Monix nearly makes them explode. They're just like, whoa!
Yeah, it's true. It was there's a near fall here where I can't remember who it was that is a move, but before they make the pin, they spread their arms out so as to be like, oh, it's over, and the commentary is immediately, what are you doing? Come on, get the pin already. And then the guy kicks out. It's oh, if you hadn't spent the time postulating.
Postulating. My next note is someone pin someone, please. This is so pointless. Nobody except employees.
It's not pointless.
Nobody except employees gives a rat's ass of a shit about this, especially not me.
Oh man,
it is pointless though. They're doing 8 bumps and shit. Nobody's watching.
Nobody really cares, but then Monix, he has a DDT, and it seems like it may be closing in on a victory. And then no. Giza, he gets a crucifix pin and he wins. Wow,
still the champ. About 4 people clap for a few seconds.
Wow. That's the end of the show, and Manawa and Lucas Jacob, they sign off by plugging a bunch of social media. It caused me to follow Nick Manawa. I always sort of rendered his name in Texas Manowar, because I thought it sounded cool, and I'll continue to do so, but, it's Manawa.
Is it spelled like the band?
It's spelled like the wrestler that Chris Hero loves, except with M instead of N. Grand Manawa. Yeah. Maybe we'll get down to talking about that guy sometime. Me and him. Everybody's welcome. And now everybody leave because the show is over.
Get out! Get out! You're not welcome anymore. You're not welcome in our house anymore.
You just got to voice get out of here. I don't want to see your face again. Oh my goodness. So yeah. Obviously for us this show was something of a legend due to the clarity of the branding and all that. So when all was said and done, how did it compare to any sort of expectations you had?
Well, like I say, Ian, he didn't even appear, let alone come out draped in a rainbow flag, singing divine songs, I only felt semi-welcomed by the show. Smart Mark video, I want my money back, you gay cunts. Nah, just kidding.
You gay cunt.
There was some charm to some stuff, but I really don't know what I expected for shit, to be quite honest. Like, what I was thinking in my head was, like, of mythical proportions or something. And it turned out that I was bored quite a lot during this. And it's okay. It's okay, Ian. It's my own fault. I set the bar too high, I understand. I missed Corp, and I missed Pondo and weird weapons. And most of all, I missed Ian. He didn't even give us a respect promo for the fucking 25-minute main. Why are you so shy? Why are you so shy now, Ian Rotten?
This is the other like main draw of like an anniversary show. The prospect that for the anniversary he will do a promo for it. Wow. There is stuff that like, you know, obviously is missed, like when you compare it to like old IWA, like the sort of like legends that you would have mentioned, you know, like Jim Fan isn't there. Like, I miss his thighs, you know.
Yeah, he's so fucking sexy, holy shit.
Yeah, like these like two mega dinosaurs, they really can't compare. As in, like, Seekers no one's making any noise. They have no like cause to be like, if I may continue. But yeah, but I think as well that like, given the stuff that we like brought up, there is still things that like, you know, make this recognizably IWA, in ways that I can like really appreciate, which like sort of brings back that same charm. And this show, obviously, like, it wasn't perfect. It had like a lot of stuff that would have made me bored, like stuff that I thought was kind of like bad wrestling, but there is always like this sort of like nice fun atmosphere to it, and plus the show wasn't that long too, so I found it a nice little experience. And I do actually feel like watching like the anniversary show that comes from after this. And yeah, so
I would say there's like
a worthwhile experience.
I'd say there's like three key things which separate this from the old LMs. I believe this building has a ban on blood, for one, so that's fucked up.
I see.
And then obviously the wrestling sort of general indie style has sort of progressed, or some might even say regressed. But
Wow.
also the whole thing of like the big time, you know, NXT, AEW, even New Japan, if you consider that the big time, it's a lot more within grasp to these people potentially than it was back in that day, when it was only a couple would have even had a prayer of getting there, and even then, like a guy like Punk had to fight against a lot of sort of judgment of him because he wasn't the sort of stereotypical OVW product, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot has changed. Like, but some things,
like, it's very possible that, like, some things never change.
Yeah, refreshing that at least some things stay the same. At least nobody still gives a shit about anything that happens.
EVAMS is eternal.
Absolutely. It's eternal.
Now it is time for my opinions on this show.
Yes.
In compact form. Match order, you bet that's what's in. Here we go. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay, here we go. Great.
Gay. So there you go. I swear you'll never see anything like this again. So drink it in.
Drink it in. Drink it in like a big bottle of purse.
Which I drink all the time.
Owing to my pastime of watching indie wrestling. Oh, Ian Rotten. Wow.
Ian Rotten. Did I get it right? Ian Rotten?
Ian, we love you. Ian Rotten Daisuke.
Please love us back.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, that Ian Rotten guy that you said was a cunt,
Yeah.
he's actually an ardent advocate for gay rights.
Okay.
Is he such a cunt now?
No.
That's right. We love you, Ian. There you go.
In show business, people are constantly looking for new voices to amuse the public. In the following recording, a voice is created by an artist which bears resemblance to parabuckle speech. Of course, we are not able to say exactly how far the singer is still using his normal voice.
I just found joy. I was happy as a baby boy.
Just to show you how big this match is for Sammy, as his girlfriend here, and his friends in the audience. Oh yeah. He told them, "Come see me face." Aaron Williams, "Come see me face." The first back-to-back TPI winner.
Summer sky,
Knocks Holiday down. What is he going to do here? Sauce is up high. Oh, that was right. Big high. You know exactly what that was. Big high.